and welcome to my kitchen. The lighting is not great in here, but I'm gonna make coffee and then go take a shower for work. So I thought I would come in and start this vlog. I'm starting it a little bit late this week, which is fine. Usually I start the next vlog as soon as I end the one prior, but this week it didn't work out that well. So that's fine. You're only gonna have a couple of days on this vlog instead of an entire week. But let's go over the book that I've actually already read for this vlog. So yesterday I finished The Teacher by Freida McFadden. I gave this book 2 stars. So hear me out, because I know a lot of people liked this book. I actually have a friend, so Brianna from Four Person Book, she liked this book. She said she gave it 5 stars and that she liked it more than she liked The Housemaid. Katie also read it. Katie was actually the one that told me to read it originally. Katie is I Would Rather Be Reading. I'll link everybody down below, as I do. And Katie did not like this book. She felt like it gave her the ick. So here is where I stand with it. The book gave me the ick, and I don't think it's for the reason a lot of people are expecting. So this is a thriller, and it's a thriller about grooming, and it's a thriller about a student-teacher relationship where a student, so we get 2 points of view. We get Eve and we get Adeline. We're walking in the kitchen. And Adeline in this book goes by Addie. So we get Eve's point of view and we get Addie's point of view. So Eve is a math teacher at the school that Addie attends, and Addie is a student who was caught up in what people assume is a student-teacher relationship the year prior. So throughout the book, we're made to believe that Addie is saying that nothing happened between her and this teacher. But people are under the assumption that it did, and the teacher is subsequently fired. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of spoiler territory here, so I will put a spoiler tag at the bottom. But when this happens, this teacher, like, if you don't want spoilers, I will try to remember to put a timestamp somewhere that tells you when spoilers will end, okay? So when this happens, Addie is very adamant that yes, she stalked this teacher at his house, but that really he was just trying to help her and he was tutoring her, but that there was never anything that happened between the 2 of them. And then enters Nathaniel, and he is Eve's husband, and he is an English teacher at this same high school, and essentially he is like the quintessential grooming teacher. It's absolutely disgusting. And then here's the thing, I gave this book 2 stars. I originally was going to give it 1. I'm going to be really honest. I was so grossed out that by the time that I made it to like 55% of this book, the only reason that I pushed through it was because I wanted to know how it ended. I needed that like closure. And there is at the very end, again, this might be a slight spoiler, but at the very end there is like this big like woman empowerment moment, I feel like, and that's what saved it for me. But then the epilogue almost made me go back down to 1 star. It's just gross. Like, it's just a gross book. And Brianna made a good point that she thinks that it's supposed to be super uncomfortable. My problem, so yeah, I gave it 2 stars. Was not a favorite book of the year. I don't know. I get it. I think it's supposed to be intentionally uncomfortable. I just feel like there were things said in this book that really were not necessary to be said, and I didn't enjoy this one at all. So there's that. So let us move on. I am reading another book right now that was suggested to me by Brianna, and this is called Silver Foxed. It is it's a dad's best friend slash dad's business partner romance. So we're following two characters who's the man is Elijah and the woman, I cannot remember her name right now, but we're following them. And coffee. Okay, so we're following Elijah and let me think what her name is. I cannot remember. I've just been reading it so quickly that like her name has left my brain. Alex. So Elijah and Alex. So I believe Alex's name is actually Alexandra, but so we're following Elijah and Alex. Elijah is Alex's dad's best friend and like co-business owner of his business, and Alexandra obviously is his daughter. So they both end up at her parents' lake house or vacation home at the same time, and they decide and make a pact that they're going to just have one amazing weekend together, and that's it. This is the spiciest thing that I've read in a minute, and not dark, it's not dark romance at all. It's an age gap. I think she's 30 and he's 50 or something like that. But yeah, so it's the spiciest thing I've read. Like, Brianna was like, you should read this book after you're done with The Teacher, and this was like the perfect palate cleanser for me after reading that monstrosity. And yeah, it's spicy, you guys. So like the first like big spice scene is in the hot tub. This is a short book. It's considered a novella. I think it's only like 100 and something pages, 160 pages. So yeah, and so it's considered a novella, and it goes quick. So like there is some plot to this book, but there's a lot of spice. So their first spice scene is like in the hot tub, and it literally just goes up from there. So I am around, let me see how far into this I am. Let me tell you, yeah, I am 45% into this book. I probably will finish this today if I'm going to be really honest. I have work tonight, but I'll probably finish it today. So I have 45% left of this book, and then I will decide on what we're going to move on to. Yeah, that's where we're at. I have a couple of vlogs I need to film this weekend, or videos I need to film this weekend, but one of them involves Ari, and so I can't actually film that unless I have Ari with me in front of me in order to film it. So yeah, I will be back with y'all when I've finished Silver Fox and or have picked a new book, depending. Probably it will be after I've picked a new book, just because I'll be at work probably when I finish. So bye. Hello friends. All right, so I have a reading update. Please ignore all of my time paintings in the background and the Barbie Monopoly. That's actually for a friend, but I am here to give a reading update. So I am 75% through Silver Fox. So this was the book that I was talking about the other day. Basically, there is a little teeny tiny bit of plot, but it's mostly spice. I will say there is some plot. I wouldn't call it like all smut, no plot, because there definitely are like deep conversations in this book. So there's that. I'm really enjoying it. It feels like a 5-star to me. It probably won't be a 6-star, just because in order for it to be a 6-star, I feel like there'd have to be a little bit more plot to it, but it's a possibility that that could change for me the closer I get, you know, to the end. I don't know why I'm zoomed in quite that far, but we also will be having sprints with Brittany in about 15 minutes. I have to run up to the store and get coffee creamer because apparently there's none in my house, which is unacceptable. I need cream. I was going to do a work session at the coffee shop today, but I don't think that that's in the cards at this point. It took a little bit longer for Ari to decide if she wanted to go to story time today or not than I was anticipating. So because of that, I don't really have time to go and do a work session before sprints. And I don't think there's like a viable spot at the coffee shop for me to like do sprints there. I do, however, want to go up there at some point here, like ASAP, and do a read with me. So that basically would be me sitting in the coffee shop reading, and y'all would be, oh my god, anyway, y'all would be reading with me, right? So I've seen these done, like you put music or ambiance over the top, and it's just like an hour sprint essentially. Sorry, I found slime in my laundry. Anyway, it would be an hour. It would basically, it's the equivalent of doing an hour-long sprint, just with only music over the top, and it would suggest me reading for an hour, and then that's the whole video. So I thought about doing one just because I feel like it's fun. I've seen other people do them. Maybe I'll wear this dress today. I'm not feeling a dress today. Anyhow, so that is kind of what's on the agenda. I'm going to run up to the store and get cream, and then we'll come back and I will set up to do sprints with Brittany. I believe they're bestie sprints. I believe it's me, Kelsey, Brittany, and Rainy. I just think that we're all kind of coming and going at different intervals and different times. So, which is great and fun still, regardless of how we're doing it. I also want to diamond paint today, and I also have 2 books for the vlog project. Well, a book and a half rather, for the book project that is due on, what is today, the 18th, so it's due on Saturday. So I need to get that done, edited, and scheduled by tomorrow night. So there's gonna be a lot of audio booking. I'm also starting a reading books already picked for me at the library vlog for Patreon. I will talk about it a little bit here just because I am reading the books, but the first book that was picked was By the Time You Read This, I'll Be Dead. This is by Julie Ann Peters. I know nothing really about this book. It's about a girl who has had like a bunch of unaliving attempts, and it's like her story behind that. I did read the first chapter. The font in this is relatively large, and the chapters are really short, so I may choose to read this mostly physically, just because I think out of all the books that she picked, this one will go the fastest, and I don't have an audio for this one. But I did read the first chapter, and already it's pretty heavy, and that's only like, it's only like a 5-page chapter, but the chapters seem to be pretty short. I'm not going to talk a ton about these books, but I will let you know like what I'm reading. So currently I'm reading By the Time You Read This, I'll Be Dead. I'm also reading the Book of Longings. I'm about halfway through that, so I'll probably finish that today, but I'm not going to talk about that in this vlog. And then I am also going to be finishing up Silver Foxed. The Book of Longings is the only one that I have as an audio at this time, so I'm honestly probably going to finish Silver Foxed on sprints first, because I'm 75% through that. So I'll probably finish Silver Foxed. Then I will probably, if I feel like diamond painting, then I will pick up the Book of Longings, and then by the time you read this, I'll Be Dead will kind of just be sprinkled in, because I do have a total of 5 books for the Patreon exclusive vlog. So yeah, if you want to be able to see that vlog, you can join Patreon at the lowest tier. I'm offering it to every tier, this Patreon exclusive vlog. So including the $2 tier, I decided that I do want to give the $2 people something, because I'm not doing sprints anymore, or I'm not doing Patreon exclusive sprints at this moment. I feel like if I'm going, in order for that to happen, I would have to make my Saturday sprints Patreon exclusive, and I'm not ready to do that yet. So for now, there won't be any Patreon exclusive sprints. I think I've taken it off of all of the benefits, but if I haven't, if I've missed them, please let me know. But I need to run up to the store because Sprints are supposed to start in 10 minutes and I'm gonna be late. That's just what it is. But I have to get coffee creamer. So, but yeah. So since we're not doing Patreon exclusive Sprints anymore, at $2 you will get you can join the Discord, and then you can also, which I need to make sure everybody's in there, and then you'll also get one Patreon exclusive vlog a month starting this month, because I'm hoping to have this vlog done by the end of the month. It might not be, and if it's not, then it will be officially starting in August. I'll have it up like as soon as it's done, even if that's the beginning of August, and then you'll get another one in September, and so on and so forth. So my goal is for you to have a Patreon exclusive vlog by the end of every month starting in August. I said starting this month, and that was not correct. I meant starting in August. That's my goal. That's what we're aiming for. So if you want to be able to see the books in, like, hear about them in detail, I'll talk about them just because they are books that I'm reading. But if you want to be able to hear about them in detail, you can go join Patreon. She's always linked down below. And yeah, so I know someone will ask me, so I'll just tell you the reason that this particular vlog is Patreon exclusive is because Ari wanted to be a part of the vlog, and I am no longer putting her on my main channel outside of when she pops into Sprints. But as far as like sit down, like long form videos, I'm no longer putting her on my channel. So that's just what it is. It's been like that for a while now, but just so that everyone is aware. So the vlog that Patreon will get after this one is a powerful, powerless tandem read exclusive vlog, because that's the book that was picked for my TBR game this month, Wheels of TBR. And I give myself 2 months to read each Patreon pick. So that will be out by the end of August. But that's all I have for now. I will be back when we start Sprints and when we start doing all the things. But I gotta run to the store. So I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Hello, friends. Alright, so I'm walking to the grocery store. So while I walk, I'm gonna talk. So I've started A Touch of Darkness because it's the audiobook option for my TBR game this month, and I'm actually liking it. I am like a Hades and Persephone like retelling hoe, but I wasn't sure I was gonna like this one because it's supposed to be like smutty or whatever, and it's like an entire series. So I was like, do I want to sign up to read another series? And it's good so far. It's good. I am doing the audiobook, but you can get it on Kindle Unlimited as well if that's how you would prefer to read it. I'm contemplating getting it on Kindle Unlimited to annotate. Is that run across the street? Lord have mercy. I am contemplating getting it on Kindle Unlimited to annotate, but I'm gonna see how it goes before I decide to do that. Otherwise, I really like the covers for these books, so I may buy them physically if I actually like them. But I'm a couple chapters in. I'm on Sprints right now for Mid-Year Scramble, which I think this book might hit. It might hit a prompt for mid-year, but I'm not sure. So I'll have to look at my bingo board. But yeah, that's where we are. I'm walking to the grocery store. I gotta grab a couple of things, and it's just like up the street. So lighting out here is not great because it's super like overcast and there's a lot of trees. But I wanted to come and give a little update on that. Also, the vlogs that we all did for this month's Can We Trust, it was Nicole. We skipped June because of something. We skipped June because of the Amazing Readathon. So this month and next month we're going back to back, and then there won't be another one until September. But this month was Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers. So those are all up if you guys want to go watch those if you haven't already watched them by the time that you watch this. So that's all I have, and I'll be back in a little bit. Hello. So I am currently on the last sprint. This hair still needs to be taken out. We're not gonna talk about it, but currently on the last sprint for my mid-year Scramble sprints, and I'm on with Bree and Margaret. And I need to talk because I think I'm in a slump. I have not picked up this book, which is for a vlog for Patreon. I am behind in recording things for this week. Like, the only thing right now that I have to go up this week is this vlog, which is great. I started Powerful Powerless, so I read the prologue in Powerful, and I've read part of the first chapter of Powerless. Like, I even broke down and bought these on my Kindle so that I didn't have to read them physically. I'm not loving the audio, so I bought them on my Kindle so I could read them that way. And I don't care. Like, I don't want to read anything. So I think what I'm gonna have to do, so it's Saturday today. This means that this vlog has to be edited and up by Monday, and I have laundry to finish and a whole bunch of other stuff. I think I'm gonna read smut. I was really trying to like avoid doing that just because I don't have time. But my next vlog is going to be a special vlog. It's gonna be, I asked the person that I saw do this, or that I see do this all the time, if I could do it, and she told me yes. So you'll find out exactly what it is, but I'm just like gravitating towards smut, and so I'm like, do I just pick up a smut book? I'm thinking about picking up On the Line by Naomi Loud. I've heard really good things about that book. So I think I'm going to start that. I really can't afford to start another book, but I think I'm going to read On the Line. It shouldn't take me too long. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and I think I'm going to read that and see if maybe that helps me to want to read other things. Like, I was doing really good until I read the like 25-30ish% of by the time you read this I'll Be Dead. That book, like, something about that book has put me into a slump. I think because I just didn't like it, and it's not for teenagers. But this says it's 7 hours, 360 pages. So I don't know. The female main character in this book's name is James, which is interesting. I'm going to try this, and I'm going to hope that maybe this helps me get out of a slump, because I feel slumpy. So I'm going to go read On the Line, hope that it helps, and then I'll be back to close out this vlog. Okay, hello. It's been 10 minutes since the last time I spoke to you and said I was going to start On the Line. I'm not going to. I've decided that instead what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick back up Ricochet, which is the second book in the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I need to finish this for my TBR this month anyway, since this was the book that was picked on my series spinner wheel. And I also wanted to talk really quick about my TBR game because there's been some questions about it. So this month for August, I will be doing a prompt wheel instead. However, the other wheels, so like my series wheel, my Kindle Unlimited wheel, and I think there was another wheel that I actually added in order to help me read down my TBR. Those wheels will still be spun because my series wheel is a little bit, I'm going to be honest, my series wheel is a little bit out of control. I'm actually thinking that I'm going to redo my series wheel and only include the series that I actually have on my spreadsheet. And the reason that I'm thinking about doing that is because I have a bunch of series that are like on my shelves, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to include the first book of each series on my regular wheel, because if I don't choose to continue the series, it doesn't need to be on my series wheel. And I think that there are series that are on my TBR that after the first book I won't want to continue the series. So I'm going to be changing that up a little bit. But right now I have a total of 36 series because I'm about to add Anne of Green Gables to my series. I believe there are 4 books in this series, but I've read the first one because I did read the first one. I did read the first one. I'm trying to think when I read it. I read the first one during the Nicole, like, Can We Trust Nicole vlog. I did go ahead and start that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add Anne of Green Gables, because again, I started that and I'm going to continue that series. I really loved Anne of Green Gables. Like, I thought it was such a cute book. So I have a total of 36 series currently on my series tracker, and yeah, and all of them are in progress. So some of them I've only read like the first book, some of them I've read like 3 out of 6 books. Like, it's a lot. I will say that a couple of these are SMP, and so I think I'm gonna have to go through and label which ones are SMP, that way that I know, because what will happen if I get an SMP title on my, which I have one, I can see, let's see, I think I have a total of 2 on here. And actually, I don't even think I have all of them on here. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through my series here at the house, and I'm gonna have to see which ones I have that I need to finish, continue, whatever. Because actually one of the SMP ones that I know I need to finish, I don't actually see on my list. So I think maybe I didn't put it. Oh no, it is right here. Okay, so I see 2 SMP series that are on my list and that need to be finished. So what would happen if I landed on an SMP title? I've gotten this question as well. Basically what will happen is I will not say the name of the book. So basically I will hold up the book if I own it physically, and I will say that this is an SMP title, and then in editing I will fix the SMP, or the, not the SMP, the Readers for Accountability graphic over the top. And so then at the end of the month, when we do a wrap up, actually I'm doing vlog style wrap ups, but when I do my wrap up, what will happen is I will say I finished the SMP title. Unfortunately I can't speak about it publicly because of the boycott. So I will still be reading them, because my goal with this TBR game is to completely read down my owned TBR. That includes physical, audio, and ebook. What will happen is I just won't talk about SMP titles, and I do check the insides of the books just to make sure that I'm not picking something up accidentally that's SMP. This is not SMP, but I just go ahead and I just make a quick glance into the copyright page and just make sure. I'm not going to not read SMP titles. I just am not going to promote them on my channel. So they need to be read. I may also choose to just cut out books that are SMP. I had this issue the other day actually with another video that I ended up having to scrap because the audio didn't work, but I had another video that I filmed where an SMP book was in there. I didn't realize it was SMP until after I filmed the vlog, or filmed the video, and I would have just cut it out. Like, that's just what it is, and made a note. So yes, I currently have 35 outstanding series on my list, and I'm gonna go through and make sure that I have all the ones, but basically any that I haven't actually started, I will leave them I'll just leave them on my shelf, and the first book in the series will get added to my wheel. That's basically how I'm gonna have to do it. So that's all I have. I'm going to go read some of Ricochet because I'm really gravitating towards this book, and it's a TBR book. So yeah, that is, I don't know if there will be another check-in, but I will come back and like close the vlog out and everything like that once I've figured out what books I've read this week and everything like that. So we'll see you when we see you. Hi friends. So I'm just here to close out this weekly vlog. This weekly vlog wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be, but we're gonna go through really quick which books I read this week, and then we're going to talk about how next week is going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be your regular week in the life vlog. So this week I did finish a couple of books. Some of them were for vlogs specifically and some were not. So we're going to go through what I read. The first book was The Teacher? Yeah, the first book for this week that I finished was The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I didn't like this book. I gave it 2 stars. It was the ick factor for me. Sorry. It was the ick factor for me, personally. I just did not love this at all. I don't know. I don't really know how to talk about this book without giving spoilers because it's not a super long book. But I really did not like this book. This does explore grooming and things between like a teacher and student, but I felt like, while I understand that we're supposed to be uncomfortable the entire time, I felt like there was a lot of things in this book that didn't need to be there, that they weren't really necessary to the book carrying on, in my opinion. So that was the first book that I finished this week. I gave it 2 stars. The next book I read immediately after The Teacher was Silver Fox by Kayla Gross. I gave this one 5 stars. This is a novella. It's only about 160 pages. I really loved this book. I will say, if you go in to read this book, plus size heroine, which we love, but it is spicy. It is probably the spiciest thing that I've read in a while, because I haven't been picking up a ton of dark romance lately, which I need to get back on my grind with that. But this one was spicy. Like, from the moment that they did the deed the first time to the end, very, very spicy. So really love that one. The next one that I finished was The Book of Longings. I gave this one 2 stars. I have thoughts in the Nicole vlog, Can We Trust Nicole vlog. That was what this one was for. I didn't really love this book. I didn't care about anybody in the book. I tried, okay, but I'm not a historical fiction girly, and I'm not a like lit fic girly, and this was both of those things. So I'm glad that I tried it. It's been on my TBR since like 2019 or 2020. 2020, I guess it was first pubbed. So glad I tried it. Didn't like it. It's okay. And then the last book that I finished for this week, for this vlog, is Anne of Green Gables. I gave this one 5 stars. I will be continuing the series for this. I absolutely loved it. It's going to be bought and be put on my classic shelf, which I don't read a lot of classics, but I really, really loved this one. So those are all of the books that I finished and my ratings and everything else for those for this week. Let's talk about next week. So next week I will be doing a cramming vlog. This is where I read all of the books that I have not completed that are on my TBR. I got this idea from Jan over on Jan Agaton. I will link her down below. If I forget to link her in this video, I will make sure that she is linked in next week's video. So if I forget to link her down below, please say something and I will link her. But we love Jan on this channel, and I did ask her, I sent her a DM and I was like, hey girl, can I do this because I'm behind? And she said it was totally fine. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. So next week will be all just me checking in as I read and finish books that are on my TBR. This does not include my Patreon pick or my Kelsey's Vlogs books, because I give myself 2 months to do those. Also, if you want the Powerless / Powerful Tandem Read vlog, that is going to be a Patreon exclusive. So I will be doing a vlog for that, but it will be Patreon exclusive. I will talk about it a little bit in vlogs here and there if I'm reading it during weekly vlogs, but otherwise you're not going to get full in-depth thoughts on that one. So we will be doing that. So let me go through really quick the books that I will be including in next week's vlog, and then I'll go back over it again in the new vlog, of course. But this will be starting on Monday. Right now it is Sunday, so it'll be starting tomorrow. But I had a total of 2, 4. Why do I have 7 books on here? Oh, because of my continuous series. I was like, what? Okay, so I had a total of 7 books. So I had 6 books plus my series wheel. Next month, I will be doing prompts, but I will also be adding a Kindle Unlimited wheel. So I'll have probably a total of 8 books if I land on 6 again. So there you go. So I had a total of 7 books this month. I've already read Bad Tourist, Home Before Dark, and Taken by the Grump. So the 3 books that I will be focusing on in the next week's crimming vlog are Queen of Roses, A Touch of Darkness, No Exit, and Ricochet, which is the addicted book, the second addicted book. So that's all I have for this video. All of my links are down below as usual. Patreon, wish lists, Storygraph, all the things are down there. Instagram, I don't know what else I have down there, honestly. But all of my links are down below as usual. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you read this week, and if you don't really have anything that you want to say but you still want to participate in the comments, go ahead and leave me a detective emoji or something to do with mystery, since I did read a thriller this week that was not great, but it's okay. So leave me like a magnifying glass or a detective, something down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one.